just saw a video a girl made talking about her weight training journey and how she felt like weight training does make you bulky, but she's fully aware that it's not the actual weight training, it's actually the diet, but weight training actually makes you more hungry. And as a trainer, I'm gonna tell you how to actually find a balance here, because although she is right, she just had a misguided training plan. And I think the most times when people think that weight training is making them bulky and then they go to a more, or I should say less strenuous activity, and they end up losing weight because they're able to maintain maybe a calorie deficit. They're not getting as hungry as often as they would be on a heavy lifting plan. It really is just an imbalance in what you're actually doing regarding your level of expenditure of energy. So when you're lifting really heavy, your body is going to want to eat more. You are pushing your body to the brink in a lot of ways, and your body needs that fuel to, one, perform, and also to build muscle. And this is why usually to build muscle, we need to be in a calorie surplus. And when we're in a calorie surplus, often that means that we're going to add a certain percentage of body fat. You can also be in what some call a lean bulk, where you're not actually overly doing it there. You're not putting on a lot of body fat. And I find that this is a really good way to train when you're in a slight surplus, and you can actually recover really well, you satiate your body, and you're able to put on muscle. If you are someone that has fat loss as a goal, lifting really heavy is great, but you also need to manage that with your fat loss goal. So if you are really pushing yourself at the gym, you are really trying to build muscle, you shouldn't really be in a fat loss phase. So I would say, as a trainer, again, if this is you, if you're somebody that wants to focus on fat loss, but you also want to lift, you need to balance your lifting plan and not be lifting, not necessarily as heavy, but maybe your sessions need to really focus on not pushing yourself to the brink in those energy expenditures. And a great way to do this is something bodybuilders do when they're training, when they're actually trying to cut. You can still train, you're just not gonna lift as heavy, and you might go a little more of a hypertrophy focused program, which can involve going lighter weights for higher rep sets. So it's not quite as strenuous, but the bigger picture here is, if you're not looking to put on weight and you actually wanna lose weight, going through a heavy strength training plan and not either tracking what you're eating or not being able to maintain a calorie deficit is completely normal, because you really shouldn't be able to maintain easily a calorie deficit when you're lifting really heavy. And if you do want to be in a calorie deficit, it doesn't make sense for you to try to push really building more muscle, because it's literally not going to work. So the big hot take on this is, you need to be educated about what your plan is. And this is why a lot of people hire trainers. If you're doing this on your own, it sounds simple sometimes, and it can be kind of simple, but you have to consider that the activity that you're doing is going to require you to produce a certain amount of energy and rest. Energy comes from food. So calorie deficit, you need to back off a little bit on how hard and strenuous you're pushing yourself, because you have to find a balance in your training versus the energy that you are putting into your body.